Welcome back to the Scott Mize Show. This podcast is brought to you by Element Electrolytes. They're used by Navy SEALs, MMA fighters, endurance athletes, and bodybuilders alike. I use 2 Element packets a day. They come in lots of awesome flavors. My favorites are chocolate and watermelon. I also really like the lemonade and lemon lime citrus flavor. It goes really well in your water, in your intra-workout. Proper hydration and electrolytes being a big part of that are essential to both your mental and physical performance and overall health. And I really like mixing the chocolate in with my cream of rice, gives it a really nice flavor. Or I put the watermelon in my intra-workout. It tastes really good and disguises the awful flavor of essential aminos. So go check them out. You can get a special offer and help support the show by going to drinklmnt.com/Scott Mize to get a free sample pack with your order. And that's a sample pack of all their most popular flavors. Element electrolytes also come with a money back guarantee. So if you don't like it, no questions asked, you get your money back. So this is a great offer for anyone interested in trying all the flavors, or you want to introduce a friend to Element. Go check them out at drinklmnt.com/Scott Mize. Thanks and welcome to the show. This podcast is brought to you by BioLongevity Labs for all your peptide and bioregulator needs, including retatrutide, aka GLP-3, MOTC, 5-amino-1-MQ, BPC-157 and TB500 for tissue and joint recovery and healing, as well as digestion, and much, much more. Head to biolongevitylabs.com and use code SCOTTM, that's Scott M, all one word, to save and support the show. Thank you. All right. Today we've got my good friend and amazing bodybuilder and coach, Tommy John. He's a father. He's an NPC bodybuilder. He's a coach and moderator for the Chase Irons Forum. And he's been coaching and bodybuilding for several years. He's a great source of information. He's worked with the likes of AJ Sims, Chase Irons, Kurt Havens, Skip Hill, and other experts in the industry. Tommy's someone I look to for advice all the time. He's been a past guest on the show, so make sure you check that out if you haven't already. Welcome back, Tommy.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for the intro.
Of course.
It's always wild to hear, things like that about myself. I don't know, maybe it's insecurity or what, but either way, I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. It's all true. And yeah, so talk us through where you're at now. You're 1 week out, 1 week.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep. Yeah. 1 week out now. Everything's good. I mean, easiest prep I've ever done as far as, easy is relative, right? But
Yeah.
overall, everything feels great. I feel like I'm in a good spot.
Okay.
Mentally, I'm in a very good spot, which is quite different than preps before. You go through that process of, am I going to be ready? Or, oh, I look like garbage. And it's like, this year I'm not really doing any of that. I just take my pictures and send them to AJ and I'm like,
Yeah.
you just tell me what to do and I'll just go do it. And I'm not looking at these. I don't care. I'm just going to show up on stage and just have fun, and be grateful that I get to bodybuild,
Yeah, cool. So what would you say has made it easier? And maybe let's start with it sounds like you've had some shifts in your mentality towards it and like your approach. And then we can talk about like the X's and O's as well.
Yeah. So as far as, the big mover for me this year, was just focusing on more grateful thoughts. And I know that sounds like cheesy and woo woo and stuff like that, but it's entirely true. I've shifted my mindset of, you know, not being so focused on, man, this is hard and I'm hungry. And like, it's like, no, dude, I get to bodybuild. I get to do this every day. And I'm so grateful for it. I'm healthy enough to do it. I have the means to support it financially. I have the best coaches in my corner. I have Dani doing my training. I have AJ, taking care of everything else. And, everyone at home is healthy. And, Man, it's just like we forget how lucky we are to be able to bodybuild. And unfortunately, some people won't ever be able to bodybuild again. And until you hit that point, you might never realize like how important it is to us, right?
Mm,
Um, and a lot of people warned me about having my son, right? Oh, your bodybuilding's going to be a lot harder. And like, dude, it got nothing but better.
mm,
It got nothing but better because now I have to distinguish the time that I spend with them between, you know what I mean? So when I'm bodybuilding, I'm bodybuilding. I'm in it. Like this is it. This is my time. This is the time I get to dedicate to this thing that I love right now, right? And then when I'm with my family, okay, this is my time to be with the family. And Dave Tate taught me that several years back when I first met him. You know, I asked him, I said, Dave, I just want to know how I can be the best athlete ever. And I thought he was going to give me like X's and O's, right? Like something along the lines of whatever, right? This training program and this diet and this
mm.
PED protocol, something like that.
Yeah,
And he said nothing like that. He said, understand your core values and apply them, right? And when you're doing that said thing, be present. And that's where the turning point started, and that was years back. And then once I got with AJ, he was saying the same thing. I'm like,
yeah,
man, there's something to this. I always thought it was kind of cheesy, and then I actually started applying it. And so yeah, the long story short, the mindset shift is arguably the biggest thing anyone could change today to make themselves better at whatever they're pursuing, right?
yeah, yeah. I love that. Dave and AJ are both full of wisdom.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm not surprised, but that's really cool because I think in life in general and in bodybuilding, it's so easy to wake up and default to the negative.
Mm,
Like even just like joking with your friends, like, oh boy, I'm starving again, another day,
yeah,
like, blah,
yeah,
blah, blah. But like, that's a choice. You don't have to live that way. You don't have,
yeah. And I think it's okay to add levity to like how you're feeling. Like, I think it's okay to joke around like
yeah,
we do, right? I think that's okay. Just because that's just like guy talk, that's friend talk.
yeah,
You're just kind of joking around. Um, but at the end of the day, and I can speak for you, just knowing you well now, is that I know you're incredibly grateful for everything you have and everything you can do and everything you continue to do and learn and all that stuff, right? So, yeah, you're still going to add levity by joking around, but
yeah.
yeah, totally. 100%.
And from my own personal experience, this past prep, I think I started it in the place of extreme gratitude and being like, this is the last prep. This is it. Like, I'm going to enjoy the hell out of this. And I did. And then like, I think it shifted about 3 weeks before my first show. I just started becoming super negative, like
Mm,
not enjoying it, not like it's still getting everything done, still putting my all into it. I wasn't half-assing anything, but I was like, I just wasn't excited. I wasn't into it. And then the first show, I went into it with a horrible mindset. And
yeah.
I came out of the show. I didn't enjoy the show at all. It was a
Yeah.
horrible experience. And, I lost, which felt like shit after winning the show last year.
Right.
Um, even though I was 10 pounds heavier and arguably
Sh-
better on stage.
sure. Yeah.
And I had all these people who came to the came to the first show because the first show was local. So my in-laws came, my parents came, all these friends and family. And I got off stage and I was basically like a grumpy asshole. I was
Yep.
like,
Yep.
I was like, thanks for coming. I'm gonna go home now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like that's no way to live. And my wife was like pretty upset and we talked about it the next day and she was like, what's the point of all this if we can't, celebrate it at least on the day? Like prep sucks for her, and it sucked last year too. And she was like, but it at least felt somewhat justified because we had this celebration at the end, like when you had
Yeah.
your show. And this year we didn't at all. And she was pretty upset about that, justifiably so.
Yeah.
And so I was like, wow, you're absolutely right. And it was a big wake up call for me. And then I was like, okay, going into North Americans, national level show, I'm just going to enjoy every single day and every single part of it. And I did. And it was awesome. I had such a better time. And, I didn't place well at all, but I was so
Doesn't
proud of the
matter.
look.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was so happy with the improvements. I
Yeah.
beat a guy. I beat the guy who beat me at the local show 2 weeks earlier. And I had such a good time. And not only at the show, but like the time in between. And
Yeah.
so it's like so easy to flip the switch. It sound like you're saying, it sounds like woo woo and fluffy, but it makes a huge difference.
Well, here's the thing, and you know this, right? Because I get a lot of clients that come to me and they say, how do I get my wife to support bodybuilding and the stuff I'm pursuing? And it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. What are you doing wrong? Well, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm following the plan. No, 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 no. That's not what I mean, dude. Like, what are you obsessing about? Why are you making her resent bodybuilding? You're doing something wrong. And as soon as your partner resents bodybuilding, you're done. You're done. You now have a choice between them and bodybuilding. So if you can skate that line of being present in each one at each time, yeah, it's going to get muddy at times. And you just have to have that conversation. Hey, listen, partner, these next 2-3 weeks, they're going to be hard for me. You're not going to have my 100% capacity. I just want to warn you ahead of time. Do I have your support on this? Yes or no? Yeah, let's do it. Dig in, finish the show, and then you know, we'll get back together after the show and we'll fix anything that you messed up, right? It has to be a mutual agreement when you are in a relationship. And of course, there's going to be a little push and pull here and there because there's things that we need to do for bodybuilding that are non-negotiable. And that's just a part of it, right? And if you're not okay with that, your partner's not okay with that, you need to find a new partner or you need to find a new hobby. It's one or the other. But as soon as you, it's our fault, 100%. You cannot blame your partner. Well, she
Yeah.
just doesn't support it. It's not true. You did something wrong.
Yeah.
You made them resent it for one reason or the other, and that's now on you, and you have to live with it. So, I explain that to clients. Listen, you need to take a hard look at yourself before you start pointing fingers at her. She doesn't support me. I just want to have abs. It's like, yeah, she doesn't get it. So, explain to your partner why it's so important to you and why you want to keep doing it. And what can I do to keep pursuing this and, keep our relationship healthy? And I don't know, have an adult conversation with the person you chose to spend the rest of your life with. It doesn't seem crazy difficult to me,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah, long story short is that's what's happening out there is guys are obsessing so much that guys and girls that their partners are starting to resent the whole concept of bodybuilding. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I'll leave it at this so I don't drag it on. When you're with your wife or your husband or your boyfriend or your girlfriend, don't just talk about bodybuilding, dude. They don't care. They don't care. Don't be on your Instagram. Hey, look at this dude. Look at his glutes. Like, she's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
We're supposed to be like having quality time right now.
Yeah.
It's like, I was so guilty of that. I was so guilty of that. And until I like realized what I was doing, luckily I did, and I caught it early. Because my wife's incredibly supportive of my bodybuilding. And part of that is because I actively make sure that she doesn't resent it, by doing my part. So,
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome that you help your clients with that. I think that's so important, and you're absolutely right that guys completely neglect it. and expect they have unrealistic expectations of their partner completely.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just not reasonable. Like if it were the other way around, you would be like,
That's what I always say. I'm like, so it's like, some of the guys come to me and maybe they're in their 40s and they all of a sudden want to do their first bodybuilding show. And it's like, hey, like, yeah, my wife's not supporting it. Okay, what if your wife picked up a random hobby and just became obsessive with it? And she is asking you to support it and you don't understand it. She's spending all of her time and money doing it. And you're like, oh, I don't know. Like, it's like, put yourself in their position.
yeah,
They're like, what the hell's wrong with you, dude? Like
yeah,
you're married to me.
yeah,
Are you trying to get other girls, or like, what are you doing? And
yeah,
like, you have to make sure they know why you're doing it. Hey, I need a new challenge in life. I want to build some more discipline. This stuff's really important to me. I want to get healthy again. I want to feel good. I want to look good, for you to stand next to you, things like that. I mean, just explain to them why it's important, right?
yeah.
No, I just want to be jacked, bro. They're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. So that's really cool on the mindset side. What would you say has been different? Um, Maybe let's start with nutrition since working with AJ.
Yes.
Even the things you've learned, like I've heard you talk about the carrot salad for gut health, but what have been some of the nutritional changes this prep?
Yeah, there's just AJ's diets are a lot more diverse
Hmm.
than really. Chris Tuttle's good about it. I've seen some of his plans. I've never worked with him personally, but there's a lot of good coaches out there who are very diverse in how they prescribe foods. I think it's so important to have a good variety of food. Yeah, the big movers are gonna end up being rice and chicken and meats and potatoes, and of course, yeah, those are gonna be the big volume movers that take up a lot of the bulk, right? But you still need to add other things to diversify the microbiome in the gut and all the processes in the body. Food is medicine, so there's so many things we can correct by using food on blood work and things like that. Like, hey, my blood pressure's high. I'm just going to take telmisartan. It's like, well, wait, you know, what if you just need to add some spinach and like, some potassium and magnesium, and maybe you can correct your blood pressure that way. Maybe balance your electrolytes and just a lot of these little details that AJ's on top of um, that we can use food as medicine. We can use it to target my specific blood work, things like that. The digestion system, he's huge on that. We've fully corrected my gut issues that I did have that I gave to myself. It was no one else's fault, but I literally starved my gut of any sort of diversity, dude. Like, I literally ate either 99.1 turkey and rice and almonds or chicken and rice and almonds. I'm talking for 5 years, dude,
Wow.
because my original plan that I had from a different coach was just a macro plan. And that's not on him. That's on me for not even looking into it, not even understanding that you need different micronutrients and things like this. I was just a blockhead, dude. I'm like, well, chicken and rice is easy. I'll eat whatever. I just want to get big.
Yeah.
It's like, um, you become so disciplined that you will literally, like, I've joked with people before. I'm like, if AJ put shards of glass on my diet, I would eat it. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I just eat what's on my diet. And you become so disciplined that you almost become dumb in a sense, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
So when I had a macro plan, I'm like, well, rice and 99.1 turkey, and that's it. And for my fats, I would use either almonds or walnuts. And that's literally all I ate, dude. All I ate, besides the, skip load meals where that was the only diversity that I was getting.
Yeah.
And that's once a week, and it's just not enough. So, yep, that would be the other part of nutrition. His plans are very similar to what a lot of people are doing, being calorically cycling carbs, with little nuances. He has his own little touches on things that are super cool that kind of open my eyes up to things. But overall, everyone's kind of doing the same thing at the end of the day. You've spoke to so many high level coaches that at the end of the day, we're all kind of cycling calories in some sort of way, some shape or form. A lot of the times there's some sort of refeed or saturation or skip load. Um, you've talked to so many people, Scott. If I'm wrong, you can tell me, but from everyone I've seen and spoken to at high levels, this is kind of what we all end up in, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say for contest prep, everyone's doing pretty much the same thing. I'd say where it seems like people differ is more how they approach diet in the off season. Like some people are very against having
Any sort of cycling, they're just
one
linear.
day in the off
Yeah.
season because they're like you're growing every day, you're growing on rest days too, so it doesn't make sense to have those lower. While other people are like, yeah, it's good to have lower food on rest days in the off season to keep insulin sensitivity. So I'd say that's like the main difference, but it seems like
What's your opinion on that? Where do you stand on that?
um I don't firmly believe one way or another.
Okay,
I
yeah.
think both logics make sense to me. Like on one hand, I think one thing I will say is I think loading a ton of food on one day in the off season doesn't make a lot of sense to me because you're already in a surplus. So
Mhm.
adding a ton more on top of already being in surplus, you're just asking to put on fat. But I can see a benefit to having like some variance.
Yeah,
And I also um yeah, I also see the other way around, which is just like have it be consistent. And I've mostly done training day and rest day in the off season, but right now I'm trying because Dom has me on just one consistent meal plan for
yeah,
both days, and he also has me doing much higher fats than I've done in the past,
yeah,
which has been interesting. Before I like fix some of my gut issues, I couldn't handle above like 80 grams of fat a day.
yeah. You had
Um,
malabsorption, or the bile acids weren't
yeah,
absorbing. It's things like that. Yeah,
but it's interesting because the reason I was willing to try it is during the peak week for both peak weeks, but especially for North Americans, we were adding olive oil to every meal, like usually 10 grams in every
yeah,
meals a day, and I felt awesome.
yeah,
Part of it also was because our protein was like 85 grams of chicken a meal, but
yeah.
which feels great.
That keeps the waist really tight,
Yeah,
though.
but the olive oil felt awesome.
Dude.
Whereas other fats sometimes if you're doing like nut butter or like 6 times a day, like
No,
you're
it's
gonna
too
have
inflammatory.
yeah
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So, but olive oil's been really good. So I've been trying like 100 grams of fat a day, and it's felt great.
Man, I'm glad you say that because I think for a while it goes in cycles. I've been around the industry long enough, since early 2000s where you see the cycles where like, oh, okay, we hate fat again.
Yeah
It's all carbs
yeah
and like, I think the answer is always in the middle with any of this stuff.
yeah
And I think fats are there's so many benefits, dude. Like your brain is literally made of cholesterol. So
yeah
like tell me that's not important.
yeah
Well, I'm already injecting hormones. I don't need to. It's like, no, you still need to take care of your body.
yeah
You can't. Well, I'll just shut everything down because I get tests in a vial. It's like, I don't know, dude.
yeah
I think there's still a point to at least try to keep the body functioning the way it was intended to, right?
yeah
And good source of fat, they're going to be cardioprotective, the neuroprotective, and man, they can really help training
yeah
because they're going to help stabilize postprandials and they're going to help stabilize blood sugar during training. And I don't know, man, John Meadows was always very very balanced with all of his meals, right? There was never, unless you're like deep in prep and just digging, but that's a different game.
yeah
But when let's say we're talking about like a standard off season, or you're just trying to progress, it's like, man, does your fat really have to be zero because you're
Yeah.
eating carbs? Like, I don't think so. I don't
Yeah,
think.
and few thoughts come to mind from
Yeah.
that. One is, um, I think Milos created this myth that if
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
fat in your diet and you're using insulin, you're just going to store it all, which is
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
completely
Yeah.
untrue. What makes you store fat when you're using insulin is
Trying to keep up with the insulin.
insulin insensitivity and
Yeah.
also overloading the surplus. Like
Yeah.
that's what matters. If you're in an appropriate surplus, whether you have fat or carbs, like that, I don't think the insulin is going to make you store excess fat.
No, and the other thing is all fats are not created equal.
Yeah,
Like we
definitely.
just said, yeah, if all your fat's coming from peanut butter and you're slamming insulin, like, dude,
Yeah,
you're gonna be diabetic in 2
or
years,
eating cheeseburgers and having a ton of fat-free
Yeah.
bread. Yeah,
But if your fats are coming from, macadamia nut oil, flaxseed oil, and salmon, and like
yeah,
all these good things, and hey, some macadamia nuts, and like there's so many good fats out there, and the they don't stay the timeline isn't the same. They don't just sit in your blood. Like a coconut oil or like an MCT, dude, that moves like a simple sugar almost, in the form of fat.
yeah,
So yeah, anyways, overall, the nutrition, pretty standard stuff, but the big ticket items in AJ's plans are just the diversity, targeting blood work with food, which I
mm,
don't think a lot of people are doing, or they know they should be, but it's a lot easier just to send clients macros, and I call
yeah,
those lazy coaches. I mean, I love you all, but in my opinion, that's just lazy.
yeah,
Hey, here's your macros. Okay, that took you 10 minutes to write. You know what I mean? Chat GPT could have wrote me that.
yeah,
And it's like that's where coaching is starting to get muddy nowadays, because I think people are getting lazy. And I'm not trying to call anyone out, but it's like, um, my diet from AJ is specific to my blood work, to my biofeedback, blood pressure, blood glucose, all these things that we should be writing diets for, right?
yeah,
Because, like I said, the food is the big mover. It's the medicine. It's the thing we take the most of throughout the day, and we can really fix a lot of stuff with food, man. And we can just go to the grocery store and get it. We don't have to worry about a food shortage.
yeah.
Everyone's worried about where to get Masteron. It's like, dude, I just go get some steak, and
Yeah.
like you'll probably grow more than Masteron anyways.
Yeah, and I think another thing that is underrated, and you were talking about diversity and the value of diversity. Guys will eat chicken and rice all week long, and then they'll have their free meal
Yeah,
cheat day,
dude.
and it'll be, pizza and ice
Yeah.
cream. So they're loading lactose. They're having way more fat than they're used to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe they're having gluten in bread, which they haven't had all week. So all of
Oh,
a sudden, it's all these foreign things, and they feel like terrible for 3 days, and their digestion's completely ruined. There's a value to like having, a couple pieces of bread in your plan every day, for instance, to keep
yeah.
you like normalized to some of these things.
Yeah. So, this is vulgar, but imagine you didn't have romantic time with your partner for 5 months, and then you get that one time to do it. And it's like, you know what I mean? It's not going to be great for either of you, right? Maybe for you, but not for her, right? So like, yeah, if you're working in like, these silly things like Ninja Creamies, they can go a long way when you get to your free meal and you're like, man, I don't need to eat 3 pints of Ben and Jerry because I've been having a Ninja Creamy every night.
Yeah.
That's 300 calories, and it scratches that itch, right?
Yeah.
Cream of rice, dude. Add your protein powder in there. It tastes great. It's like it's so easy to diet in 2025.
Oh my God.
We have like everything. You can literally smoke entire meals now, like through
Yeah.
vaporizers. It's like, dude, our life is so easy for dieting,
It's
so
ridiculous.
there's really no excuse
Yeah.
um to do that to yourself.
Yeah. Um, I want to talk about training because
Yeah,
you've been working with Dani longer than I have. I've
yeah,
been working with Dani because you told me to, and I'm
yeah,
extremely grateful to you for that.
good.
Talk about some of the ways that Dani has transformed your training, and maybe also how it's had to you've had to change some of your mindset around training because
Oh man.
I know for you, especially from your powerlifting background, there must have been some hurdles there.
Yeah, so luckily, man, I have followed Danny's content since probably 2014.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I've been she had a different last name when I first knew her, right? Um so I've been watching Danny's stuff for a long, long, long time. Um back to my powerlifting days. She's been brilliant from the beginning. She's decades ahead of everyone else. She won't ever admit it. She's too humble to admit it. She's too humble to advertise herself all over the internet like she should. Like I wish I could for her.
Yeah.
Um, she is literally the best person out there for training, in my opinion. It's
Yeah.
just my opinion.
I agree.
Um, so the mindset shift first is what you asked about. I only knew how to take sets to hell, right? To broken, right? Where I will take a hack squat until my knees are going to explode. That's just how I learned to train, dude. I
Yeah.
learned to train from old school guys. And if you could walk out of the gym, then you didn't do enough. If you left the gym and you weren't broken, your eyes weren't bloodshot, and you didn't have broken blood blisters in your face, and if if that wasn't you leaving the gym, you left some in the tank you shouldn't have. And that was how I trained for so long, and it's such a bad idea. It's such a bad idea. I think you need to do it for a little. Let's call it a year or two, and just skate that line and learn that overreaching point,
Yeah.
right? You have to find it to know where it is.
Yeah.
It's like anything. Well, I got too fat this off season, but I at least pushed it and tried.
Yeah.
And now I know that I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
But I tried, right? Um, yeah, I've run myself into the ground to the point where, I couldn't even stay awake during the day. I was so overtrained at one point. Um, so that is the biggest mindset shift I had to make was I was just slang and bang everything, just kill everything. I don't care what if it was, Scott. I don't care if it was a bicep curl. I was literally just gonna destroy that set of bicep curl, right?
Yeah.
And it's a good thing to learn, but again, the answer's in the middle, right? Where no, like Danny tells me, your eyes do not have to bleed every set you do. And it's like, okay, I get it. I get it. I'm learning it now. And now we're just finding ways to make things harder, as are you, using cues that we would have never thought of. We're using movements and machines that fit us and are, you know, facilitated towards how our body moves. And then we're correcting the way our body should be moving through training.
Yeah.
So she's implementing movements. Hey, you don't have any internal rotation of the hip. So I'm doing these movements to help build that internal rotation while you're building muscle and still progressing.
Yeah.
We're not just lying around doing PT stuff all day because she is a bodybuilder. She's a bro. I've asked her if she's okay with me calling her that, and she is. So
Yeah.
I did confirm that that doesn't offend her because man, she's just another bro like us. She loves training hard. She loves getting pumps. She likes slinging heavy weights too. She is what, in my opinion, what I found the best balance of everything.
Mhm.
She is completely science-based if she needs to be. She is completely bro if she needs to be. She is by far the perfect balance for me.
Yeah.
And I think the last person that had that balance was John Meadows.
Mm.
And that is why I'm so drawn to her, because she reminds me of John so much, and I feel I feel like part of me gets to work with John in some transitive way,
Mm,
and it's personal for me, and it's just I'm so grateful for her, and I don't even think she knows that, but
yeah.
um it just, that's what it reminds me of, is John Meadows. There's a time to punish weights, and there's a time to, kill shit and just bang weights like we all love.
Yeah.
And then there's a time to back off, make some things pretty, um, focus on, intent, intention, and things like that. And man, like I will say, it's going to be on my gravestone. The answer's in the middle. The
Yeah.
answer's always in the middle. And you need to know both extremes, and not everything's going to work forever, right? You need to know that this is working right now. Eventually we're going to have to pivot. It's like anything. It's
Yeah.
like anything, right? Um, so yeah, before I just talk about Dani for the whole episode, the mindset shift was huge. And then her just understanding how my body works, the shape of my body, what movements work for me, what movements don't, um, implementing PT to work towards some of those movements that didn't work before, and now they do, because of things that we implemented to, kind of rewire the central nervous system, rewire movement patterns. And the problem is, when you've been training for as long as you and I, you develop a lot of bad patterns and habits and repetition in that time. So you dug yourself a nice little hole that she needs to fix.
Yeah.
But man, I mean, I don't know exactly how many months I've been with her now. It's been a while now, and I wish I would have started 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. Like, man,
Yeah.
I wish I would have, but it's okay, because now I'm like, I'm on it, dude. Like, Scott, I trained this morning, and like, I'm 1 week out. I could have banged shit if I wanted to. My strength is still there. My joints are like a little dry, right? Just from, we're starting to get dry. And there's not a lot of fat on me right now. And like, I could still train, dude. I'm not dragging my feet through the gym. I
Yeah.
feel fine. Like,
Awesome.
I could get up and move if I wanted,
Yeah.
I like the other day I was doing T-bar rows, and I could bang them. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, I need to chill, because I'm going to rip something up. I had to actively like calm myself down. And previous preps, it's like, dude, you get to the gym and you like stare at the front door. Like, I don't know. I kind of just want to go home and eat, It's like, I don't want to be here. Maybe I'll do some curls and some posing and go home. But like, on her check-in form, your desire to train, it's been an 8 out of 10 my entire prep.
Yeah. That's
An
awesome.
8 out of 10, dude. Like, man, I've been deep in the off season before where it's not an 8 out of 10 desire to train. Um, so yeah, I'll wrap it there with the training. Is just, her whole thing is picking movements that are going to work well for you, the intention of the movement, keeping you healthy through PT, banging when you need to bang, pulling back when you need to pull back. She is doing everything for training that AJ is doing for diet.
Yeah.
AJ's writing the diet and the supplements for me, my blood work, biofeedback. Dani is writing the training for my body, the way it's designed, the shape, my breathing patterns, etc., my recoverability, all of those things. So those two are masterminds at learning what the exact individual needs based off what they're seeing and what feedback you're giving them. And they're designing the plan based off that. That is what a coach is supposed to do.
Yeah.
There's no cookie cutter protocol. I've seen people post AJ's plans online. I'm like, that's not AJ's plan. You know what I mean? And like, I've asked him about it. He's like, oh, I've seen fake plans of mine all over the place. You know, he's like, I don't know why it happens, but,
Yeah.
um, and you know, it's just, they're masterminds, man. And that's the level that I continue to try to get to with my own coaching, my own bodybuilding, is just keep learning and learning and learning. And you do learn patterns that you can apply to other clients. And, you know, you'll have similarities, but everyone's so individual that you just have to have a lot of tools, man.
Yeah.
And when the coaches out there are just cookie cutter, and it doesn't bode well. And you see their people on stage, and it's like, well, it makes sense. They had 3 guys and girls in shape, and they had 1,900 not in shape, you
Yeah.
know, because their protocol worked those 3 times. And copy and paste doesn't always work for everyone, right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I would echo everything you have to say about Danny. And
Yeah,
I'd
she's the
say
best.
the other thing, for folks who haven't worked with her, I think a lot of people are trying to understand from the outside in what she does. And the other thing I would add, other than everything you said about figuring out your body, proper movement selection for you, it's also how she programs with regards to not just the technique of the set, but like, hey, we're going to do really high reps for this set
To
because
prime for this
yeah,
one,
yeah.
yeah.
And like because this is going to if you did low reps and higher weight for this, it would create bad habits with regards to your rib cage position. Or like,
Yes.
everyone is all about now locking into super brace stable position and like
Yeah,
pulling like
strange shit.
this.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
like, no, actually, we're gonna do, like a rest pause or a cluster set here because it's going to teach you how to stay on the muscle and open up and like have your rib cage open and like,
And allow the body to lengthen through that whole
exactly,
range, like
exactly.
specifically with the back training, right?
Yeah,
Dude, I've made back progress in the last 12 weeks just because of the training we've been doing,
yeah,
allowing the scapulas to really, really open and lengthen like
yeah,
through that entire range. And we had to find that range and develop that range.
yeah,
But yeah, exactly what you're saying. How she sequences things is so important.
yeah,
And that's a John Meadows thing.
yeah, yeah,
And
totally.
and it, it's
You're absolutely right.
also a Louis Simmons thing.
Mm,
And you know, rest in peace, Louis Simmons. He's just in the powerlifting world, and um, he had so many little golden eggs that we don't hear about
yeah,
because he was never in our space.
yeah,
And he just stayed confined to his little bubble, right?
yeah.
West Side Barbell. That dude was years and years and decades ahead of his time. Well, everyone wants to praise the knees over toes guy, who is amazing. Half the stuff he's doing, Louis was doing 25
Mm,
years ago, you know, his sled walks and all these things. Like Louis was doing that stuff when
yeah,
he was 25, you know. Knees over toes wasn't even born yet. And
yeah.
that's not to take anything away from him. He just is a better marketer than Louis, you know, and he's very good at what he does also. So,
Yeah. And it's like some of the smallest things that make a huge difference. Like, everyone now is obsessed with let's get as much heel elevation as possible,
yeah,
in
yeah.
from the quad. He's like, no, your problem is your center of mass is too far forward.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
actually, like when you do these lunges, I want you to keep your hips as far back as possible. And like,
That's
stuff like that. It's just like m- thinking about how your body actually works, not just like we're targeting this muscle. Let's make it as hard as
yeah.
possible for this muscle.
And when you boil it down, she explains it and you're like, "Damn, that makes a lot of sense."
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff is so opposite from what I learned. So like you were talking about bracing. Man, I come from powerlifting where you are bracing 360 degrees as hard as you can. You're making yourself as wide as possible in the midsection to support heavy weights. And she's like, "Well, I want you breathing into your chest." I'm like, "What do you mean breathing into my chest? I don't even know how to do that." I'm like, "I only know how to breathe with my diaphragm now because
Yeah.
that's all I ever did rep after rep after rep, because to get better at powerlifting is just doing more reps.
Yeah.
The SAID principle, right?
Yeah.
Specific adaptation to imposed demand.
Yeah.
I've done so many reps of a barbell squat, I can't even tell you how many. So I was reinforcing this bracing pattern for decade, over a decade. And now she has to come in and fix all this shit. I told her, like, this is like the first month working with her. I'm like, I literally have to start over. She's like, that's fine. We got time. She's like, you'll still make progress, but she's like, it doesn't happen overnight. And just, that's per, aside from everything she knows, her knowledge, everything like that, her personality is the cherry on top, where
Mm.
I know if I need her, she's going to be there. And she's so supportive, um, in the way she coaches. And coaches forget that you're working with people who have emotions and feelings, and they desire your service and your help. And she's always there for us. You know that for sure,
Yeah.
right?
Definitely.
So, um, just as a person, she's just a good person, and that's rare. That's
Yeah.
rare,
Yeah. She starts every check-in saying how grateful she is for working with you.
100%,
She's amazing.
100%.
So talk about the show you're doing and like what you're looking forward to, um, how you're feeling going into it.
Yeah, it's the Midwest Gladiator, in Chicago. This was actually the first show I ever did, so it's
Oh
kind
wow,
of cool to now come back and just see where I stand
cool.
in a show of this magnitude, because it is a larger show, and it's likely going to be a difficult show for me.
Yeah, I mean you're going to be heavy, right? So that's the most competitive.
Yeah, it's going to be very challenging, to walk away with an overall win. And so I'm not really going in with expectations. And I know people will boo-hoo that, like, oh no, you got to say you're going to win. It's like, well, dude, I'm a realist.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. If I come in and I look great, man, what else can I do?
Yeah.
I can't play defense. There's no one. I can't pick who shows up. I wouldn't want to. Basically, I've done this show twice now, so this will be my third time doing this
Oh wow.
exact show. Um, the last time I did it, I looked really great. I brought a really good look that I was proud of, and I walk into the venue, and Austin Stout walks in behind me,
Oh yeah, I heard you tell this.
and I'm like, man, I know who that is. I'm like, there's no way he made light heavy, right? Because I was light heavy for that show. I'm like, there's no way. And then sure enough, Skip went over and talked to him. He's like, yeah, I made weight, doing light heavy. And I'm like,
Oh.
oh, so right away I knew that I was done. I basically ruined the show for myself
Mm,
because my mindset shifted. It wasn't even fun for me
mm,
because I just beat myself up in that moment, where now going into this show, I don't care who's getting tan next to me. I don't care what they look like,
yeah.
because I brought the best I could bring this show, and I'm very happy and just grateful for it. And, that's where the mindset is different, like we were talking about earlier,
Yeah.
where, hey, maybe I won't win this show, but you bet your butt, like, I'm bringing the best version of myself that I could.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I would enjoy winning. That sounds good. It sounds good, but so the expectations are just to show up and just have a lot of fun, right? And
Yes.
and and then see where I need to improve, right? That's what it ends up being, is just kind of a checkpoint. That's what a competition is. Okay, here's what we brought in your best shape, your best form. Now we have the stage photos, and if you care about judge feedback, we have that as well. And now we just go back to work, and we just, correct those things that we need to work on. So yeah, super excited about it. Um, but yeah, so I'm not going to let that happen again, where, you get in the tanning room and you start looking around
Psych
like,
yourself out.
oh yeah, look at that guy, he's huge. And it's like, I'm just not doing that,
Yeah.
dude. I'm not doing it anymore. I don't really look. One of my friends asked me like, hey, have you seen anyone that's doing your show? I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, have you looked on Instagram and stuff? I'm like, why would I do that to
Yeah.
myself?
No.
I'm just,
Terrible
no,
idea.
not at all. So yeah, that's, I'm avoiding things like that. Basically when that happened to me at that show, Skip saw it all over my face and he looked at me and, Skip's such a good friend. He's like, Tommy, that happened to me so many times with Phil Heath because they were both from Denver,
Yeah.
right? They,
Yeah.
they were both from Colorado. He's like, Tommy, you know how many times Phil walked in the door behind me? And I'm just like, poof, okay, here we go. He's like, what are you going to do, dude?
Yeah.
What are you going to change?
Yeah.
And I still couldn't get it out of my head because, I was just being obsessive and being a crybaby. And like you said, I probably ruined that night for everyone.
Yeah.
I probably ruined it for Skip. He's like, man, I came out here to be with my client and this kid's all pouty and shit because Austin Stout, a significantly better bodybuilder, walks in behind him.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do you do?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to make sure that I just enjoy that time and that I don't ruin it for anyone. I'm not going to be a dick to my friends. And I have friends coming to the show to see me and like I don't want to treat them bad. Like I want they're there to support me. Like it should be fun for everyone. Like win, lose,
Yeah.
get smoked, whatever happens. It's like, man, all my friends are there and I prepared for the competition, everything I could do to get ready for it. So like it's out of my hands now, I did all the stuff and I feel good about everything. So like I said, just coming back to mindset, I just feel good about it. I'm just going to show up whatever I can bring, and that's
Yeah.
it.
If I can give you one piece of advice, I would say,
Yeah.
you know, you don't walk in cocky, but I think you should walk in proud because you have achieved your
Oh,
best work
yeah.
ever.
Yeah. And I don't want that. I don't want that to come off the wrong way. Um, I'm extremely happy with how I look right now.
Good.
As far as a bodybuilder can be happy about how
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
look. Um, but overall, I'm already better than the last show I
Yeah.
did last summer. So
I
I
like
could
that.
put a tan, I could literally put a tan on right now and go stand on a stage, not pull water, not pull nothing, do nothing, and I will look better than I did at my last show. So I already won, dude. I already
Yeah.
won the show.
That's a win.
In my eyes, I already won the show, right? I could get second call outs, which would really hurt my feelings, but I could get second call outs and I
No way.
still am going to look better than the last heavyweight show I did, which was last June or July.
Yeah.
Last June. Yeah.
Well, you're peeled, so second call
Appreciate
outs
it.
is not happening. But
Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, there's probably only 4 heavyweights anyways.
yeah, somebody's
One of them will be like 224, like 12% body fat, and then the other 2 or 3 will be really good,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool, man. Well, really appreciate you coming on. It's always awesome to catch up with you. Wish you the best of luck at the show and with everything else you got going on. Where can folks find you and link up with you and follow along?
Yeah, TommyJohnCoaching.com for any coaching inquiries. Tommy John Coaching on Instagram. My YouTube channel is starting to grow a little bit. I try to do, like one live a week. I'll
Yeah,
probably do that today.
those have
And
been
then
awesome.
I appreciate that. Yeah, there's some little good golden nuggets in there, I think, once I just start getting talking about random stuff. And then obviously the chaseironsforum.com, there's a good community over there of guys and girls. So, yeah, man, I appreciate you so much for having me on and I appreciate your friendship and support as always. Like you're one of those dudes who checks in with me like every week. And it's just like, I don't know. It's, if you guys haven't texted a friend today, like I recommend doing that because when Scott does that, I'm like, man, like it just feels good. So I appreciate you.
Of course, you do the same for me, and I appreciate the hobby, man.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Everyone go follow Tommy, and thanks for listening.
Thanks, Scott.